The high-pitched whine of the quantum engines slowly faded as our ship, the Stellar Slugger, settled into Earth's orbit. I adjusted my perception filters to better process the garish blue-green planet below. So this was the legendary birthplace of baseball, the game that had somehow managed to captivate half the Galactic Council. Remind me again why we are here, Zorks? I asked, my third eye blinking in irritation as I turned to my commanding officer. Zork sighed, all four of his mouth tentacles quivering with barely contained exasperation. For the seventh time, Plink, we are here because Supreme Leader Klaxon bet the mineral rights to the Andromeda sector on a baseball game against these humans. He spat out the last word like it was a piece of rotten Krillium fruit. Right, I muttered, pretending I'd been paying attention the first 6 times. And we are supposed to, what, coach them? Scout them? Intimidate them with our superior physiological adaptations. We are supposed to play them. Zorks hissed, his skin turning that alarming shade of purple that usually preceded someone getting demoted to waste management on Pluto. Nine-Eye laughed. Actually laughed. Then realized Zorks wasn't joining in. Oh, come on. You are serious? US? Play baseball? Against humans? The species that invented the game. The Supreme Leader is. Confident in our abilities, Zorks replied, not sounding remotely confident himself. The Supreme Leader has been huffing Jupiter gas again. I muttered under my breath. What was that, Lieutenant Plink? Zorks' antennae twitched dangerously. I said, this plan is sure to be a blast, sir. I lied smoothly, all 3 of my hearts racing. So, who's on our team? The doors to the bridge whooshed open and then floated, literally floated, because gravity was an optional experience for a species. Quantum Quigley, our navigations officer. Behind him stomped Bash, our security chief, whose rock-like exterior made Earth diamonds look like tissue paper. Following them were the twin Zeta engineers, Ping and Pong, whose shared consciousness made them either brilliant collaborators or insufferable know-it-alls, depending on the day. Oh no, I groaned. Please tell me this isn't your team? Yes, it is, Zorks confirmed, a sadistic gleam in his 7 eyes. Plus a few others you will meet planetside. Congratulations, Captain Plink. You have just been promoted to manager of the first ever galactic baseball team. Captain, I squeaked. But I'm just a lieutenant. Not anymore. The Supreme Leader thinks you're. How did he put it? Annoyingly persistent questioning of authority makes you perfect for understanding the human psyche. I'm touched, I said dryly. And if we lose? Zorks' color shifted to a somber gray. Then the humans get access to our hyperspace technology, and we all get reassigned to the black hole observation outpost in Sector ZZ9. The one where time moves so slowly that a single day feels like 1,000 years. The very same. Fantastic, I muttered. Just fantastic. Earth's atmosphere was disgustingly rich in oxygen, like drinking liquid energy. My membranes kept oversaturating as we made our way through the crowded streets of what the humans called Chicago. Apparently, this was the location of something called Wrigley Field, which Zorks informed me was considered hallowed ground in baseball culture. The humans stared at us as we passed. I couldn't blame them. Despite our perception filters making us appear somewhat humanoid, there's only so much you can do to disguise tentacles and extra eyes. We'd gone with the cover story that we were an exhibition team from very far away, which wasn't technically a lie. Stop gawking, Plink, Bash rumbled beside me, his rocky exterior drawing fascinated looks from human children. You are supposed to be our captain. I'm not gawking, I protested. I'm conducting visual reconnaissance. You have been conducting visual reconnaissance on that hot dog stand for the past 7 minutes. Ping and Pong said in unison, their shared consciousness making the stereo effect extra annoying. Those hot dogs are fascinating constructs, I said defensively. The humans take parts of their livestock, grind them up, stuff them into intestinal casings, cook them, and then put them between sliced grain products with various sauces. It's barbaric and oddly appetizing. My stomach gurgled traitorously. Focus, Captain, Quigley hummed, his translucent body shimmering with annoyance. We are here to meet our liaison. As if on cue, a human female approached us. According to my scanner, she was approximately 35 Earth years old, with dark skin and hair cropped close to her scalp. Her eyes, only 2 of them. How do humans manage were sharp and assessing. "You must be the visitors," she said carefully, extending a hand in what I recognized as their traditional greeting gesture. "I'm Dr. Maya Chen, astrophysicist, and apparently your guide to Earth baseball." I extended my least alarming appendage. "Captain Plink, at your service. These are my teammates." Dr. Chen's handshake was firm, her eyes narrowing slightly as she took in our not-quite-human appearances. "Let me guess. You are not really from very far away on Earth, are you?" I froze, my third eye blinking rapidly in panic. "I don't know what you mean." She laughed, a pleasant sound, I had to admit. "Captain, I've spent my career studying anomalies in space. 2 days ago, my equipment detected a ship entering Earth's orbit that somehow managed to avoid every other detection system on the planet. And now, here you are, with your slightly off appearances and your interest in our national pastime. It doesn't take an astrophysicist to put it together, though being one certainly helped." "Are we being arrested?" Ping asked nervously. "Should I initiate defensive protocols?" Bash rumbled, tensing his rocky form. Doctor Chen held up her hands. "Whoa, easy there, Mount Rushmore. No one's getting arrested, and no one needs to get crushed, or whatever it is you do. Actually, I'm here because I intercepted your communications with your leader." "You what?" we all exclaimed in unison. "Quantum encryption isn't as secure as you think when you're dealing with someone who's been theorizing about it for decades," she said with a shrug. "Look, I know about the game. I know what's at stake. And frankly, I think it's a terrible idea to let your leader and our world leaders handle this. They will turn it into a diplomatic nightmare. So what do you propose?" I asked cautiously. "I propose we keep this between us. A real game. Fair and square. Winner takes all, but without the politics." "And why would you help us?" Zorx asked, suspicious the doctor. Chen's expression turned serious. "Because I have seen what happens when humans get technology they are not ready for. If you lose, your leader gives us hyperspace tech. If we are not ready for it, and trust me, we are not, it could be catastrophic. But if we play this right, everyone wins." "I don't see how everyone wins if someone has to lose," Quigley pointed out, his body pulsing with confusion. "Simple," Dr. Chan said with a smile. "We play the game. It's fair. No interference. If you win, you get your mineral rights, or whatever, and you leave our planet thinking we are just not ready yet. If we win, you convince your leader that we are not ready for your technology, but maybe in a few decades, we could be allies." I exchanged looks with my team. It was not a terrible plan. "Fine," I said finally. "But we need to learn this game properly, and we need a place to practice." Dr. Chen grinned. "I thought you'd never ask. Follow me." The baseball field Dr. Chan took us to was not the famous Wrigley Field, but rather a smaller, enclosed facility that she called a training complex. Apparently, she had connections that allowed us to use it privately, away from prying eyes. "First things first," she said, tossing me a small white ball with red stitching. "This is a baseball." I caught it awkwardly with 3 of my tentacles. "It's smaller than I expected." "It's not the size that matters, Captain," she said with a smirk. "It's what you do with it." "Is that an Earth saying?" Ping and Pong asked together. "Sort of," Dr. Chen replied, her lips twitching. "Now, the basic concept is simple. One player throws the ball. That's the pitcher. Another player tries to hit it with this." She held up a long wooden stick. "That's the bat. If they hit it, they run around those bases." She pointed to white squares arranged in a diamond pattern on the field. "That's it," Bash asked dubiously. "Throw, hit, run. This is the game that captivated your planet." Dr. Chen laughed. "There's a bit more to it than that. There are 9 innings, like rounds. Each team gets to bat until they make 3 outs. An out happens when a batter strikes out, misses the ball 3 times, or hits the ball and it's caught, or a runner is tagged with the ball before reaching a base." My head was already spinning, and I could see similar confusion on my teammates' faces. "Perhaps a demonstration would help," Dr. Chun suggested. Noting our bewilderment, she made a call, and within 30 minutes, 9 humans had arrived, dressed in what she called baseball uniforms, tight pants and shirts with numbers on them. They eyed us curiously but didn't ask questions. Dr. Chun had apparently told them we were special effects artists testing new costumes. Humans will believe anything. The demonstration was enlightening and terrifying. The speed at which the humans could throw and hit the ball was impressive. Their coordination, their understanding of the game's complex rules, their ability to make split-second decisions. It was like watching a perfectly choreographed battle. "We are doomed," I whispered to Zorks as we watched a human hit the ball so hard it flew over a distant wall. "Not necessarily," Zorks replied thoughtfully. "They have skill, yes, but we have certain advantages." He was right, of course. Quigley's ability to manipulate gravity could affect the ball's trajectory. Bash's rock-like exterior made him perfect for blocking the home plate. Ping and Pong's shared consciousness gave them unparalleled coordination. And as for me, well, having multiple tentacles might make catching and throwing interesting. As the humans finished their demonstration, Dr. Chen approached us with a gleam in her eye. "So, think you can handle it?" "We will need practice," I said cautiously. "Lots of practice. You have got 1 week," she replied. "The game is scheduled for next Saturday. The official story is that it's an exhibition match for charity." 1 week, I exclaimed, all my tentacles flailing in alarm. "That's barely 168 Earth hours. That's all we have got before your Supreme Leader arrives with his delegation," Dr. Chen said firmly. "So, I suggest we get started now." She tossed me a baseball glove. "Put that on your hand, tentacle, whatever, and let's see what you've got, Captain." The next 5 days were a blur of sweat, frustration, and the occasional minor gravitational anomaly. Quigley got excited during practice. We practiced from dawn until dusk, learning the intricacies of America's pastime under Dr. Chen's surprisingly patient tutelage. It wasn't easy. Bash kept breaking the bats. Ping and Pong argued over which one of them should control their shared body while batting. Quigley had to be reminded constantly that altering gravity to make the ball curve unnaturally was considered cheating. And me? I discovered that having multiple tentacles was both a blessing and a curse when it came to pitching. "No, no, no." Dr. Chen shouted on the 6th day after I'd thrown my 15th consecutive ball over the backstop. "You are overthinking it, Plink. It's not about how many appendages you use. It's about control." I wiped sweat from all 3 of my brows. "This is impossible. The ball is too small, the strike zone is too precise, and these fingers," I waggled my disguised tentacles, "are not designed for this level of dexterity." Dr. Chen approached the mound, her expression softening slightly. "Look, I get it. This isn't your game, but you're making it harder than it is. Baseball isn't just about physical skill, it's about heart. Heart. I have 3 of those, and none of them is helping me throw a strike." She laughed, taking the ball from me. "It's an expression. It means passion, determination. The greatest players in history weren't always the most physically gifted. They were the ones who wanted it most." She demonstrated a pitching motion, slow and deliberate. "Try simplifying your motion. Use just 2 tentacles like this." I mimicked her, feeling slightly ridiculous. "Good. Now focus on a target. Imagine a string connecting your hand to the catcher's glove, pulling the ball exactly where you want it to go." "A string? There's no string. That would be cheating, and you just lectured Quigley about." "It's a visualization technique," she interrupted, rolling her eyes. "Just try it." Skeptically, I wound up, "Imagine a string," and threw. The ball sailed through the air in a perfect arc and smacked satisfyingly into Bash's glove, right in the center of the strike zone. "I did it," I exclaimed, all 3 eyes widening in shock. "See," Dr. Chen grinned hard. As the day wore on, something strange began to happen. We started to improve. Bash figured out how to control his strength, sending line drives into the outfield instead of reducing the bats to splinters. Ping and Pong developed a batting stance that utilized their dual consciousness, with remarkable results. Quigley, forbidden from altering gravity, discovered he had a natural talent for outfield play, his hovering ability giving him exceptional range. And me? I was starting to understand the subtle art of pitching, the way the seams affected the ball's flight, the importance of changing speeds, the psychological game between pitcher and batter. By the end of day 6, we actually resembled a baseball team. A strange, multi-limbed, occasionally gravity-defying baseball team, but a team nonetheless. As we wrapped up practice, Dr. Chen gathered us together. "Tomorrow's the day," she said, her expression serious. "Your Supreme Leader arrives at noon, and the game is scheduled for 3 p.m. at Wrigley Field." "Who are we playing?" I asked, suddenly realizing we hadn't discussed our opponents. "The Chicago Cubs," she replied. "Well, most of them." I pulled some strings, called in some favors. They think it's a publicity stunt, but they have agreed to play. The Cubs. Zorks frowned. Earth Bear Cubs? They allow infant bears to play baseball here. Dr. Chen laughed. No, that's just the team name. They are professional baseball players. Some of the best in the world. A heavy silence fell over our group. We're going to lose, aren't we? Ping and Pong said glumly. Doctor. Chen looked at each of us in turn, her gaze finally settling on me. That depends. Do you have a heart for it, Captain? I thought about the past week. The frustration, the gradual improvement, the strange sense of pride I'd felt when that first perfect pitch had hit Bash's glove. I thought about the consequences of failure. The black hole observation post, 1,000 subjective years monitoring the same swirling void of nothingness. And I thought about the odd sense of camaraderie that had developed between our misfit team of aliens and this remarkable human female who had taken it upon herself to teach us her planet's game. Yes, I said firmly, surprising even myself. Yes, I believe we do. Dr. Chen nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. Then get some rest. Tomorrow we play ball. The morning of the game dawned clear and warm. Perfect baseball weather, according to Dr. Chen. As our ship hovered invisibly above Wrigley Field, I watched the stadium fill with humans, all coming to witness what they thought was a charity exhibition game, completely unaware that the fate of galactic relations hung in the balance. Nervous, Captain? Zorks asked, joining me at the viewport. Terrified, I admitted. Let's just say I'm glad our species doesn't sweat visibly, he replied, his skin flickering between purple and green, a sure sign of anxiety. Our communicator buzzed, and Supreme Leader Klaxon's imposing visage filled the screen. Unlike us, he hadn't bothered with any perception filters or disguises. His massive, bulbous head, with its 17 eyes arranged in perfect symmetry, took up most of the frame. Captain Plink, he boomed, his voice reverberating through the ship. Are your preparations complete? Is victory assured? I swallowed hard. We have. Prepared thoroughly, Supreme Leader. The game will be competitive. Klaxon's central eye narrowed. Competitive? I did not authorize competitive. I authorized dominant. The mineral rights to the Andromeda sector are at stake. Yes, Supreme Leader, but baseball is the humans' national game. They have been playing it for centuries. We have had 6 days of practice. Excuses are for lesser species, Captain, Klaxon sniffed. I will be watching from the diplomatic box with the human leaders. Do not disappoint me, or your next assignment will make the black hole observation post look like a pleasure cruise. The screen went black before I could respond. Well, I said brightly to Zorks, at least the pressure's off. Zorks' color shifted to a deep, anxious blue. We should join the others. It's almost time. As we made our way to the teleportation chamber, I stopped by my quarters to retrieve something a baseball Dr. Chen had given me yesterday, signed by someone named Ernie Banks. She'd said it was for luck. At this point, I'd take whatever cosmic assistance was available. The team was gathered in the teleportation chamber, each member looking as nervous as I felt. Bash was literally shedding pebbles. Quigley's translucent form was pulsing with anxiety. Ping and Pong were arguing in hushed tones about batting strategy. Team, I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. Remember what Dr. Chen taught us. Baseball isn't just about skill or physical abilities. It's about heart. It's about playing together as a unit. It's about not embarrassing ourselves in front of the entire planet. Quigley suggested helpfully. I was going to say enjoying the game. I replied dryly. But yes, not embarrassing ourselves would also be nice. I held up the signed baseball. Dr. Chen gave us this for luck. Apparently, it's signed by a legendary human player. We're going to need more than luck, Zorks muttered. Probably, I agreed, but it's a start. I placed the ball in a small compartment in my uniform. Now, remember your human forms, and let's play some baseball. With a shimmering flash, we teleported down to Earth, materializing in a service tunnel beneath Wrigley Field. Dr. Chen was waiting for us, dressed in what she called coaching attire, a jersey and cap with the Cubs logo. You made it, she said, relief evident in her voice. For a minute there, I was worried you might have. I don't know, fled the solar system? The thought crossed my mind, I admitted. Several times, actually. She handed each of us a uniform. Not Cubs uniforms, but specially made ones with Galactic All-Stars emblazoned across the chest. Subtle, Zorks commented. We are supposed to be an exhibition team, Dr. Chen shrugged. Had to call you something. As we changed into our uniforms, an awkward process for beings with non-standard anatomies, I noticed Dr. Chen looking pensively down the tunnel toward the field. Second thoughts? I asked, joining her. She shook her head. No, just thinking about what's at stake. My colleagues think I'm crazy for arranging this. They wanted to call in the military when they detected your ship. Why didn't you? She turned to face me, her expression thoughtful. Because sometimes you have to trust your gut. And my gut tells me this is the right way to handle first contact. Not with guns and threats, but with baseball. That's either the wisest or most ridiculous thing I have ever heard, I said with a laugh. Why not both? She grinned. Then her expression grew serious. By the way, there's something you should know. The team you're playing? They are good. Really good. Some of the best players in the league. I felt my heart sink. So we are definitely going to lose? Dr. Chen's eyes twinkled mysteriously. I didn't say that. I have about one more surprise for you. She gestured down the tunnel, where 5 more figures were approaching. Humans, judging by their outlines. Who are they? I asked warily. Your secret weapons, she replied with a smile. I called in a few favors. As the figures drew closer, even I, with my limited knowledge of human baseball, recognized some of the faces. They were legends of the game, retired champions who had apparently agreed to join our team for this charity exhibition. Dr. Chen explained the situation, said an older human male with a kind face and a powerful build. Not all of it. I'm guessing, given your interesting appearances, but enough. I'm Harold Jones, and these are my colleagues. He introduced the others, all former professional players, each specialized in different positions. You are going to play with us? I asked, stunned. With you, coach you, guide you, Harold confirmed. Consider us your human embassy to the game of baseball. I looked at Dr. Chen in amazement. How did you manage this? She winked. Let's just say I know people who know people. Plus, the chance to play one more game at Wrigley is pretty tempting for these guys. A loudspeaker crackled to life, announcing the start of the game in 15 minutes. My third, I began blinking rapidly in panic. Relax, Captain, Dr. Chen said, placing a steadying hand on my shoulder. Remember, heart, that's all you need. As we gathered our equipment and prepared to take the field, I couldn't help but feel a strange mix of terror and excitement. In just a few minutes, we would be playing for the future of Earth-alien relations, for mineral rights, for our careers, and somehow, most importantly, for the pure joy of the game itself. All right, team, I said, surprising myself with my steady voice. Let's play ball. The roar of the crowd hit us like a physical force as we emerged from the tunnel into the sunlight. Wrigley Field was packed to capacity, a sea of blue and red, the Cubs' colors, with scattered signs welcoming the mysterious Galactic All-Stars. If only they knew how literal that name was. Supreme Leader Klaxon was easy to spot in the diplomatic box, his perception filters making him look like an uncomfortably large human in an ill-fitting suit rather than a 17-eyed alien overlord. Beside him sat several important-looking humans in formal attire, likely the government representatives Dr. Chen had mentioned. Remember, Dr. Chen murmured as we took our positions for the pre-game warm-up. Just play your game. Don't get distracted by the crowd. That's easy for you to say. I hissed back. Your species isn't on trial here. She patted my arm sympathetically. Every player feels that way their first time at Wrigley, even the human ones. The warm-up was mercifully brief. Harold and the other human players on our team took the lead, demonstrating proper techniques, while we aliens attempted to mimic them without revealing our extraterrestrial nature. I caught a few curious glances from the Cubs players, but no one seemed overly suspicious. Apparently, in the world of baseball, eccentric behavior was expected. All too soon, the announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's special exhibition game between our beloved Chicago Cubs and the visiting Galactic All-Stars. The crowd cheered politely, though with clear favoritism for the home team. Captains, please meet at home plate for the coin toss. I made my way to home plate, trying not to trip over my own feet. The Cubs captain, a tall, muscular human with a weathered face and the name Martinez on his jersey, waited for me with the umpire. Good luck today, Martinez said, extending his hand. Heard you guys came from pretty far away for this game. You have no idea, I replied, shaking his hand and hoping my perception filter was hiding the extra tentacle I couldn't quite retract. The umpire flipped a coin. Call in the air. Visitors. Heads, I said, having learned from Dr. Chen that this was one of the options. The coin landed on tails. Martinez smiled. We will bat first. And just like that, it was time. We took the field, with me on the pitcher's mound, Bash as catcher, Ping and Pong at second base, Zorks at first, Quigley in center field, and our human ringers filling the remaining positions. Harold Jones, playing third base, caught my eye and gave me an encouraging nod. Just like practice, Captain. One pitch at a time. The first Cubs batter approached the plate, a young human with a confident swagger. The crowd erupted in cheers, chanting his name. Rivera. I took a deep breath, wound up, and threw my first pitch I sailed a good 2 feet over Bash's head, nearly hitting the umpire. Ball 1, the umpire called, to scattered laughter from the crowd. I could feel my skin turning a mortified shade of purple beneath my perception filter. Focus, Plink. String theory. Connect your tentacle to the glove. The second pitch was better, still a ball, but at least Bash could catch it. Just breathe. Bash rumbled encouragingly as he threw the ball back. My third pitch actually crossed the plate, but was too high. 3-0 count, someone in the crowd yelled. He's gonna walk him. Perfect. 3 pitches in, and I was already a failure. I could feel Supreme Leader Claxon's 17 eyes boring into me from the diplomatic box. Black hole observation post, here I come. And then something strange happened. As I prepared for my fourth pitch, time seemed to slow down. I remembered Dr. Chen's words about heart, about how baseball wasn't just physical skill, it was passion, determination. I looked at the ball in my hand, at the red stitches forming a continuous line, like the cosmic string that supposedly bound the universe together that I threw. The ball curved perfectly, catching the inside corner of the plate. Strike, the umpire called. The crowd's murmur of surprise matched my own feelings exactly. I'd done it. Now I just had to do it. Again, the next pitch was another strike, a fastball that the batter swung at and missed. Full count. One more strike, and I'd have my first strikeout. One more ball, and he'd walk to first base that I wound up and threw what Dr. Chen had taught me to call a changeup, a slower pitch that looked like a fastball. The batter swung too early, missing completely. Strike 3. You are out. The crowd's reaction was mixed, disappointment for their player, but also appreciation for an unexpected display of skill from the visiting team's unusual pitcher. I felt a surge of something unfamiliar, pride, maybe or joy. Was this what Dr. Chen meant by heart? The next batter approached. This time, I managed a strikeout with just 4 pitches. My confidence grew with each throw. The third batter hit a ground ball to Zorks at first base, who fielded it cleanly and stepped on the bag for the third out. Just like that, we were heading to the dugout, having held the mighty Cubs scoreless in the first inning. Not bad, Captain, Harold said, slapping me on the back as we crossed paths. Not bad at all. Dr. Chen was waiting in the dugout, her face split in a wide grin. See? I told you. Heart. It was just 1 inning. I cautioned, though I couldn't help returning her smile. We still have to hit. Yes, hitting. The part of baseball I'd struggled with most during our brief training. It was one thing to pitch with multiple tentacles, quite another to coordinate them all to swing a bat at a tiny ball traveling at ridiculous speeds. Ping and Pong were first up, their shared consciousness giving them an advantage in tracking the ball. They made contact, sending a grounder between first and second base for a single. The crowd applauded politely. Zork struck out, looking utterly confused by the Cubs' pitcher's curveball. One of our human ringers, a former all-star named Rodriguez, hit a deep fly ball that was caught at the warning track. 2 outs. And then it was my turn that I approached the plate, bat gripped awkwardly in my disguised tentacles. Cubs pitcher, a human mountain named Collins, looked me over with a predatory grin. He knew fresh meat when he saw it. The first pitch came in so fast, I barely saw it. Strike 1, the umpire bellowed. The second pitch curved away from me at the last second. I swung so hard, I nearly fell over. Strike 2. The crowd was enjoying this now, laughing at the gangly, uncoordinated visitor who clearly had no business on a baseball field. I glanced toward the diplomatic box. Supreme Leader Claxon's perception filter couldn't hide his displeasure. His human disguise appeared to be melting in patches. The third pitch came in high and tight, nearly hitting me. I stumbled backward, falling ungracefully onto my posterior. The crowd roared with laughter. As I stood up, brushing dirt from my uniform, something snapped inside me. Not anger exactly, but Determination. I'd traveled across galaxies, learned an alien sport in 6 days, and faced the ridicule of an entire stadium full of humans. I was not going to go down like this. I stepped back into the batter's box, gripping the bat with new resolve. Collins wound up and delivered his pitch, a fastball, right down the middle. Time slowed again. I saw the ball rotating in the air, the red stitches creating patterns against the white surface. I swung, connecting with a satisfying crack that sent vibrations up my tentacles. The ball soared high and deep towards center field. The Cubs center fielder drifted back, and watched helplessly as the ball sailed over the ivy-covered wall. Home run. Stunned silence fell over Wrigley Field, followed by scattered, confused applause. No one had expected the awkward alien, though they didn't know that part. To hit a home run off one of the league's premier pitchers, I rounded the bases, trying to maintain a dignified pace despite my urge to skip with joy. I caught Dr. Chen's eye in the dugout. She was beaming, giving me a thumbs up. Even Harold and the other human players looked impressed by the time I crossed home plate. The crowd had warmed to the moment, offering genuine applause for the unexpected display of power. I tried to act nonchalant, as if I hit home runs all the time on my home planet. We didn't even have baseball until a week ago, but inside, all three of my hearts were racing with excitement. The game continued, inning after inning, with unexpected twists and turns. Bash used his rock-like form to block home plate perfectly, preventing a sure run in the third inning. Quigley made a spectacular catch in center field, his hovering ability allowing him to reach a ball no human could have caught. Ping and Pong turned a flawless double play thanks to their shared consciousness that, of course, the Cubs scored their share of runs. They were professionals, after all, and despite our beginners' luck and alien advantages, they knew the game better than we ever could after just 6 days of practice. That'd be why the bottom of the 7th inning, the traditional stretch time at Wrigley Field. The score was tied 4-4. The crowd had gotten into the spirit of the exhibition, cheering for both teams and enjoying the unusual skills displayed by the Galactic All-Stars. As we took the field for the top of the 8th, Dr. Chen called us into a quick huddle. "You are doing amazing," she said, her eyes bright with excitement. "Win or lose, you have already accomplished something incredible here today. But we need to win," Zorch reminded her anxiously. "The Supreme Leader will have to accept the outcome of a fair game," she cut in firmly. That was the deal. No interference, no politics. Just baseball. I glanced toward the diplomatic box. Supreme Leader Klaxon appeared to be in deep conversation with the human officials, his gestures becoming increasingly animated. That couldn't be good. "I think politics might be creeping back in," I murmured to Dr. Chen, nodding toward the box. She followed my gaze and frowned. "Keep playing. I will handle this." As we took our positions, I watched Dr. Chen make her way toward the diplomatic box. Whatever was happening up there, I hoped she could manage it. Our focus needed to be on the game. The Cubs' cleanup hitter, Martinez himself, was leading off the inning. He'd already hit a double and a single off me earlier in the game. This time, I was determined to get him out. My first pitch was a fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1. The second pitch was a changeup that he barely held up on. The umpire called it a ball, though it looked like a strike to me. For the third pitch, I tried something Dr. Chen had taught me just yesterday, a breaking ball that started inside and curved over the plate. Martinez swung and missed. Strike 2. One more strike. Just one more, and I'd have him out. I wound up and threw my best fastball, putting every ounce of alien strength behind it. Martinez swung. Crack. The ball rocketed off his bat, soaring high and deep toward left field. Our left fielder, one of the human ringers, drifted back, reaching for it. And then something strange happened. The ball seemed to slow in midair, hanging impossibly long before beginning to drop. Our fielder made the catch easily, a look of confusion crossing his face as I glanced toward center field, where Quigley was pointedly not meeting my gaze. He had. He'd used his gravitational abilities to alter the ball's flight. That was definitely against the rules. Martinez jogged back to the dugout, shaking his head in disbelief. I called time and motioned for Quigley to join me on the mound. "You can't do that," I hissed. "It's cheating." The Supreme Leader was giving orders, Quigley replied, his translucent form rippling with anxiety. "He's got a direct line to my neural implant. He says to win at all costs." I looked toward the diplomatic box again. Dr. Chen was engaged in what appeared to be a heated argument with Klaxon and the human officials. Ignore him, I said firmly. We are going to win this fairly or not at all. But the black hole is still better than winning by cheating, I finished. Trust me on this, Quigley. The rest of the inning passed without incident, though I noticed Klaxon's human disguise was now glitching badly, showing flashes of his true alien form. The human officials were studiously pretending not to notice, which I found oddly touching. In the bottom of the eighth, we managed to score another run when Bash hit a ground ball so hard it burrowed through the infield dirt, confused the Cubs' shortstop, and allowed Zorks to score from second base. The umpires conferred briefly before ruling it a fair hit, much to the Cubs' chagrin. 5-4, our lead. Just 3 more outs to go. As we took the field for the top of the ninth, Dr. Chen rejoined us in the dugout, looking harried but satisfied. Crisis averted, she murmured to me. I convinced your leader that any interference would violate the terms of the agreement and automatically forfeit your claim to the mineral rights. And he bought that. I asked skeptically. She grinned. Let's just say I could be very persuasive when Earth's future is at stake. The ninth inning was a test of nerves. The Cubs fans were on their feet, cheering every pitch, every swing. Their first batter singled. The second hit a fly ball that Quigley caught easily, legally this time. The third hit a grounder to Ping and Pong, who turned another double play attempt, but the runner beat the throw to first. 2 outs, runner on first. Up came Rivera, the Cubs' young star who had led off the game. He'd been quiet since then, but the gleam in his eye told me he was due for a big hit to him. First pitch was a ball outside. The second was a strike on the inside corner. The third he fouled off, sending it screaming into the stands where an eager fan caught it as a souvenir. 1-2 count. One more strike, and we'd win. I checked the runner at first, wound up, and delivered my best breaking ball. Rivera swung and connected, sending a line drive straight back at me. I reacted instinctively, all my tentacles extending to catch the ball before it could take my head off. The ball smacked in my palm with a painful thwack, but I held on. There was a moment of stunned silence. Then the umpire's voice. You are out. Game over. We'd won. Somehow, impossibly, we WON.MY teammates rushed the mound, surrounding me in a bizarre alien group hug poorly disguised as human celebration. Dr. Chen joined us, her face split in a wide grin. Even Harold and our other human ringers seemed genuinely pleased, as if they'd forgotten they were supposed to be rooting for their own species. The Cubs players came over to shake hands. A post-game tradition, apparently. I caught Martinez's eye. Hell of a catch, he said, gripping my hand firmly. And hell of a game. You guys play differently than anyone I have ever seen. We come from very far away. I replied with a small smile. Well, come back anytime. That was the most fun I've had on a baseball field in years. As the crowd dispersed and the field emptied, Supreme Leader Klaxon approached our group, his perception filters now functioning properly again. The human officials hung back, watching curiously. Captain Plink, Klaxon boomed, trying to sound authoritative despite his obvious surprise. You won. Yes, Supreme Leader, I replied, trying not to sound too smug. As ordered. Indeed. He cleared his throat awkwardly. The mineral rights to the Andromeda sector are secure. Well done. Dr. Chen stepped forward. And the other part of our agreement? About Earth's technological development. Klaxon studied her for a moment, then looked at the field, the departing crowd, the ivy-covered walls of the historic stadium. Something like understanding flickered in his central eye. The Council has reconsidered, he said carefully. Earth is not yet ready for certain advancements, but perhaps, in time, our civilizations might find other ways to interact. Baseball diplomacy, Dr. Chen suggested with a smile. Something like that, Klaxon agreed. Perhaps a rematch next season? We might even allow Captain Plink to keep his team together for the occasion. I blinked all 3 eyes in surprise. You mean the black hole observation post will have to find another commander, Klaxon confirmed. You and your team have a new assignment. Cultural attaches to Earth, specializing in baseball relations. As Supreme Leader Klaxon departed with the human officials, Dr. Chen turned to me with a grin. So, cultural attaché Plink, how does it feel to be Earth's first alien baseball team? I looked around at my teammates, Zorks, Bash, Quigley, Ping, and Pong, all exhausted but exhilarated. I thought about the game we just played, the skills we'd learned, the connections we'd made. I thought about the strange planet called Earth, with its excessive oxygen and its bizarre yet captivating national pastime. It feels, I said slowly, like we might need to schedule some more practices. 7 innings is a lot of baseball. Dr. Chen laughed, throwing an arm around my shoulders. Captain, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship and an even better ball club. As we walked off the field together, I couldn't help but think she was right. In a vast, strange universe, we'd somehow found common ground on a diamond-shaped field in Chicago. And maybe that was the point of baseball all along, bringing different worlds together one game at a time. Not bad for a week's work. Not bad at all.